What's up, guys? I'm Jared, and joining me live from a place where they are gouging the price of popcorn is my co-host, Jared and Adrian. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about video games, movies, and comics. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to download us, I've been assured that the link is in the description. What's up?
I did it. You can look. It's down there. I really hope it's down there now because I'm going to look like a retard.
We'll check it after.
And dude,
we will fact check before we upload.
It's fucked, man. I don't like it.
So like weird. Why?
It's as expensive. So the movie popcorn is as expensive in the States as it is here.
Oh, like for normal ass popcorn?
Like, well, for movie theater, movie popcorn, like with the poppin' thing, and the kid puts it in a bag, like movie popcorn at the movies.
Yeah.
Now, grocery store microwave popcorn is more expensive
than the movie theater popcorn?
Than the States, than the popcorn in the States. Like,
holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, you can go to the dollar store and get, a 3-pack of Pop Secret or Orville Red and Butter's delicious
Redenbacher.
I don't know. He's the kernel of popcorn. Get it? Pun.
Oh, he is the kernel of popcorn. Well done.
You can get that for like $1, right?
Yeah.
Here, it is $5 for a 3-pack of popcorn.
And in like Thailand money, that's a small fortune, is it not?
It's 140 baht, I think. So it's about $4.50, $5. I mean, it's more expensive than food. Like, I can go get a plate of food for 50 baht. So it's
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that is egregiously expensive for something that you are gonna shit out later.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I just eat potato chips. They're cheap.
Cheaper.
Yeah, potato chips.
So
are still
you saw Spider-Man and I didn't.
I did see Spider-Man. That's why I know I'm so mad about popcorn, because I didn't get any popcorn with my popcorn movie, which is what Spider-Man is. I hate to say it, but all these Disney Marvel films are popcorn films, man.
Had you moved before E3? Have we already talked about you moving?
No, I think I was in my other place.
I think it was the
right
last
after
one
E3 when we did the E3, and then I moved, and it fucked everything up.
So you've been a busy guy.
Yeah, man. Well, not really. The move was actually really easy because we don't have a whole lot of stuff, so it took like only a couple hours. But everything else since then has been a pain in the ass. Like, the apartment building that we moved to said all these things before we moved, and then after we moved, they says the opposite now. So it's really
aside
fucked.
From the internet.
Oh, like they So my girlfriend gets a monthly stipend from her company for living expenses. Because she's like a manager for the sales and parts department. So she gets like a living stipend, and all she needs is like a receipt from the building owner or building management company. She just needs like a receipt saying this is how much they charge. Okay. Something more official than something more official that she couldn't forge, because
right.
They don't want they want something official. But so they've given her the whole runaround about getting the stupid little receipt, and they're like, oh, management can't do that, and she's like, you told me yesterday that you could give that to me. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like, that's really weird. She just needs a document saying that this is how much we are charging you to live here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's something super simple. You really shouldn't be a problem, but I don't know.
She needs the equivalent of like a notary or something?
No, it just
even?
needs to. No, it just needs to be like something she couldn't forge, like something she couldn't type out on a computer and print out herself and then give to her company. You know what I mean? Like,
all right.
Something on more of an official.
I guess I'm like trying to make it more complicated
invoice.
than it is.
It really isn't complicated.
It's really stupid.
But there's this thing in Thai culture where they don't want to say no. I'm not really sure what it leads into, like something about saving face, or like just not wanting to tell someone no, like to be disrespectful, like saying no might seem disrespectful. So whenever you'll ask them some questions, sometimes their first like instinct is to just say yes. So you might have to probe and ask more questions to really get the right answer.
Now, when you say yes,
do you mean no? Like,
what exactly do you mean?
You mean yes, you can, under
Not?
extreme circumstances that will not happen.
Right. In the event of a tornado in your bathtub.
On Christmas.
Certainly.
But what have you been up to? Because it's been a couple weeks.
I have been... Well, we had the 4th, so we did pretty typical.
Happy America Day.
Yeah. It was... We had hot dogs and swam in a pool. We didn't go to fireworks, which was a plus for me. Cause
you don't like the fireworks?
I don't dislike fireworks. I hate the traffic and the never having a place to park and having to walk like 3 miles to get there, to sit outside in Florida on grass in the middle of the summer. It's just bugs and sweat and beer's always hot when you get there. It's terrible.
Yeah, I understand the bugs and sweat, man. It sucks.
Yeah. So we opted to let them use sparklers, which is apparently not something you're supposed to do as a parent in 2017, but we did it anyways.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently sparklers are no-go, man.
Dude, they're not even dangerous.
Yeah, dude, like 30 million kids a year die from sparkler exposure.
Is that true?
I saw it on the news.
That sounds false.
I thought it sounded inflated too, man. Look it up.
Wait, this is a real thing? Like that's
no,
a real...
absolutely not.
Holy shit, dude.
30 million, that's like a third.
I was like, how are there Americans left? What's...
No, I just remember there was some news lady, and she was just dead-ass serious talking about how dangerous sparklers were. And, like, me and my brother used to sword fight with those things and, like, throw them at each other.
I mean, if you eat them, they're probably not good for you. But
yes, don't eat them. You probably shouldn't even eat them if they're not on fire.
But I mean, you could say the same thing about McDonald's. Like, just you shouldn't eat McDonald's also. But I mean, you know,
well,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
McDonald's will kill you way slower than eating a sparkler.
It's that slow, delicious death that's so good.
If you're gonna die, you may as well enjoy it, I suppose.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that seems weird. So did you have people coming up to you and like saying like, "Oh, your kid shouldn't be playing with us"?
Oh no, we were in a backyard. It was funny
okay.
that was even a thing. It's pretty hilarious.
Okay, because my sister came. You know, when my family visited, my sister came and she brought my nephew, and she kept commenting on how different Thailand was than compared to the States because. You know, he's like 1.5 and he can walk and he can run around and he likes to have fun and climb on things and you know, and she mostly lets him because like you can only corral a 1.5-year-old so much without him just losing his mind. So like, you know, just let him.
At some point, you just kind of tune out to anything that's not like directly gonna hurt him.
yeah, and so like, you know, she's just letting him be a kid. And she said in Thailand it's so different because no one like looks at her like she's a shitty parent. Like everyone is. Oh, hey, look, oh my God, that kid is so cute. Wow, that's so amazing. Like, look at that kid go. Like, he's having so much fun. And then she said as soon as she got back to the States, it was like, oh, why are you letting your kid touch things?
There's so much you are not supposed to let your kid do. I don't ever feel like anybody's judging me or looking at me crossways. I just feel like I'm like mulling around with a bunch of other parents who are looking at each other like, I'm not abusing my child, I swear. Yeah. I am not abusing my like we're all just looking at each other like, I swear, man, I'm not.
Yeah, it's just so weird though. So
no, I've just always kind of let Isla go for it. Just go.
Yeah, when you said that, like that's immediately what came to mind was like someone came up to you and was like, don't you know that there's a 40% chance of like a burn or some rash or something that'll like lead to a serious infection and cause your kid's eyes to fall out?
No, that was courtesy of the news.
Oh, okay. Because man, we used to play with so much more dangerous shit when we were kids, and all that stuff's illegal now, which. I mean, I guess
think it was
okay.
illegal then.
In Florida, yeah. In Florida,
yeah.
yeah. Because we would drive to Bama and get the good shit.
Yep. Actually, my my brother's wife's relative owns a fireworks stand in Alabama.
Oh, nice.
So they had a bunch of cool shit, but we didn't go over there either because I don't know, we were tired. We got them all year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we. I remember one year, like middle school age-ish, so 16, 17 years ago. We bought so many fireworks because it was like we took a trip to Bama, so my dad was like, all right, we're buying all of the fireworks because we drove 4 hours or however long it took to get here. Right. We're buying them, like we're going ham. And
so you drove there specifically for fireworks?
Yeah, no, like we made a trip. We did a day trip, an 8-hour round trip excursion, if you will, to Alabama for fucking fireworks.
To blow shit up.
Yeah, man, America. So we bought a ton of stuff, and I was blowing things up for like 2 years. Like we bought so much stuff.
Yeah, I believe you, because it just seems like you can get an awful lot of fireworks for not very much money. Because I remember as a kid, just bags and bags and bags of bottle rockets and like M80s, everything else. And I was a kid, like I had no money. So it's like, who the fuck was selling me all of this like gunpowder for like pennies on the dollar?
I don't know. The land of the free, man. It's amazing. Like we used to get my favorite were the little Black Cat firecrackers.
Yeah,
because those things are super dangerous, and you never knew how long the fuse was. Right. Because it was not like consistent. Because fireworks is not an exact science, like because they're so cheaply made.
Yeah. Well, you get some of them. It was like a slower burn, and then some of them it was exact same length, but it'd be like.
Yeah.
It's like dropping them and dodging your toes.
So we would always like hold them, we would always like hold them and get ready to throw them. And then it was like, all right, let's see, like light it. And then I'm going to immediately throw it. And sometimes, it was like right out of your hand and it would pop. And, we'd get little like, get some little burns on our fingers because. Yeah. Oh man, this is probably painting my parents in like a super shitty light, but.
Whatever. I think I'm not going to say every kid should play with fireworks because I knew some dumb kids. But if you're smart enough to get your hands on fireworks.
Every generation's got their thing, right? Like probably YouTube and the internet and social media will probably be outlawed in 20 years. And like those children, the children now who have children then were going to be like, back in my day, we didn't care if you harassed people on the internet. Y'all are pansies.
Quit you whining. No, I don't. There's no way it'll be outlawed in like 20 years. The like algorithmic nature of social media will have caused it to gain self-consciousness, and it'll be ruling over us. Some sadistic overlord. It kind of already does.
That sounds all right. I mean, I guess. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm like, it's like a weird, like in between, like, it's just it's another system that I can't control that controls me, so I don't really care.
It kind of already works that way, man. Like I hop on Facebook and it's like, here's stuff that you like. I'm like, are you sure? Yep, we did the math. Here's stuff that you like.
It's like, super weird because when you
because 9 times out of 10 they're fucking right.
Yeah. Well, I do, and a lot more. Oh man, so. Because I didn't used to be on social media a whole ton. Back when I was in the military, especially, I stayed off of it as much as I could. It's just bad for your career. It's kind of one of those things that it just gets bad. Like everybody gets too chummy, and then when you have to discipline somebody, people get all like insane and weird.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So like I just stayed off of it as much as I could, and then so whenever I would Google something, that immediately became the new thing that was advertised to me on my internet for like the next month or two. Because I remember like I was looking for I wanted to buy a telescope, so I searched for some telescopes. I looked up some telescopes on Amazon, and then I'm still seeing telescope ads popping up on my internet like to this day. I bought one telescope one time.
Bought one telescope one time. One time, Google.
So you're an astronomer, right? You like this telescope? That's amazing. Here's 20 others that are way out of your price range.
We heard you like telescopes.
Oh man, but what else, dude? So fourth sounds fun.
Yeah, the fourth was fun. It was really uneventful, but yeah, it was just the fourth. It's great. It's an important day, but I won't go into that because it's all
America.
Yeah, patriotism is dead, man.
There's nothing wrong with it, with being patriotic, as long as you're like sensible about it. You know, you understand why you're patriotic. It's not just because I was born here, so this is the greatest place on earth. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of both.
But it's fine. I mean, America's not the only place to do it. Like every country thinks that they're the greatest country in the world.
Oh yeah.
They can't all be right.
No. I would argue that none of them are.
Nah. I mean, they each have their pluses and minuses.
I'm
right?
not saying we are either. I'm saying that I think eventually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like every country's got its good stuff and its bad stuff. You just gotta, know your faults, try to improve them.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's a ways off, but enjoy your patriotism while it lasts, because I think at the rate that we are developing as human beings, that we will have absolutely zero use for like these border arguments and stuff that we have now. Will just be gone.
I hope so, because it's really arbitrary.
Yeah.
I mean,
it just feels like technology will get to the point where it's like, oh, well, I guess those laws don't need to exist because there's no way to enforce them whatsoever. They've become arbitrary.
Oh, dude. So if I could immigrate via the internet, like if I could teleport to somewhere.
Well, I think you might have just like jumped off the cliff with that idea. I was
yeah, no, like, that's the point of
intercontinental travel. But internet travel, that's cool too.
Dude, I'm all about it. Like, oh, what if I could have multiple telepresences in every country?
If you could have multiple whats?
Telepresences, like, like there's digital clones of me all over the world.
Do you like bank all of their emotions and experiences? And if so, where's the hive mind?
Oh, dude, this is getting trippy, man. I don't want to think about that. Anyway.
So.
Spider-Man.
How is Spider-Man? We're not impressed. Everyone I haven't watched any reviews. I don't want to be spoiled, and I'm sure nobody else does either. But
yeah, super.
We're lukewarm on it, and everybody else is like, "This is the Spider-Man movie I've been waiting for," which may just be true because it doesn't, it doesn't.
So, suck. Yeah.
Or it seems not.
So, okay, so I'm lukewarm on like 60% of the Marvel films, maybe 70% of the Marvel films. Like I enjoy them as, these short throwaway experiences, but so few of them stand out as rewatchable movies. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. In fact, I would say that my number is even higher than 60%. The Marvel, in fact, just about every superhero movie experience I've had, while it was fun, and I'm glad that they're making superhero movies, they seem really like I couldn't tell you what they were about now, and I don't rewatch them. It's like, wow, this is a fun experience, and I'm like, okay, I'm off the ride.
So the only ones that I've really enjoyed and really gone back to and enjoyed a second, third, fourth time would be the Cap movies, Captain America 1, 2, and 3, which are just solid action films.
Absolutely. That just happen to have a superhero in them.
And then I enjoyed Guardians 1 a lot because Chris Pratt, I love Chris Pratt. Like, he's hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Great movie. I was just watching that like yesterday or the day before.
Guardians 2 was not as good as Guardians 1. But, it's like trying to have lightning strike twice in the same place, right?
I heard that had more to do with it. I heard a lot of people say if they'd seen the second one first, they would say it was just as good as the first one.
Maybe.
But because they saw the first one before it, it was just kind of, that whole trying to make lightning happen twice.
Yeah. And so Spider-Man was good. It was a good action hero movie. The action sequences were all right. They were pretty good. The villain.
I'm really not that interested in the action so much as I'm interested in
the characterization,
character development. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the character development was great. This new guy, Tom Holland.
Love the kid. So far,
he's amazing. He's amazing. Perfect Peter Parker. His supporting cast is amazing. They added like 6 nameable sub characters, like just in his school, that Peter Parker interacts with, which is amazing.
Right.
Because that's the first whatever comics or to this day, Spider-Man has some of the best sub characters. The supporting cast for Spider-Man has always been phenomenal. So supporting cast is great. The villain is just he's good. Like he gets evil, right? He gets fucking evil in the movie, and you're like on for the ride, right? But he's not. So they try to make him relatable, which they do an okay job at. He's kind of an every relatable kind of guy, a 99%er fucked over by the 1%. So he kind of does what he needs to do to survive. Okay, awesome. I'm on board with that, but they didn't do enough, if that makes sense. Like,
right.
I didn't feel like I never felt like I wanted him to win because.
Right. You can identify with him, but it didn't spill over into empathy.
Yeah, like, and I'm not saying humanize him to that point necessarily because he is the villain, but like every good hero, all the best superheroes have better villains.
Right. Well, that's and every villain should, even if you don't believe it, the villain should believe that they are the,
that they're the hero. Yeah, that they're the hero of the story. Yeah, and he does, and I get the sense of that, but it's just a couple notches away from me, and that's my personal opinion. Other people probably will feel differently when they view it. But great actor, and I want to say they really did some makeup work with his face. Who's the actor that plays the Vulture? He played Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. So I want to say they did some makeup work with Michael Keaton's face to actually make him look almost exactly like Ditko's Vulture in the Spider-Man comic.
Oh, that's cool.
Really liney and just highly detailed. Like, it's weird. It's weird to say it, but if you see it, I think you'll know what I'm talking about.
I know. I can visualize what you're talking about. It is very difficult to put it in words.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a whatever. Like, if I don't see it again, I wouldn't really care. I'm not, excited to watch it again, but I want to see where they go with it. Like, I'll watch the next one,
That's the problem, man. I will always watch them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be if the Infinity War isn't blow my load amazing, I might turn off from Marvel films.
Yeah, I might turn off. I'm afraid of turning off of superhero films altogether. There's just so many of them, and it's like
it sucks because you
made me care about characters that I didn't really get. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example. Had no idea, didn't care at all. Doctor Strange is another good one. Ant-Man. The weird history behind that. Like, they spark interest, but not in the movies.
Yeah. I don't know. And I don't know. It's one of those things, like personal opinion things. I mean, they're super popular. They're not going to stop making them anytime soon. So
no, whatever. Not ever. Ever. But I might stop following them quite as closely because it's getting exhausting. getting so fanboyish because now they're gonna have 3 a year, and that might be too many. Yeah, well, I think Ant-Man was a perfect example. I have never read before that point. I still haven't really read a whole bunch. any Ant-Man comics at all.
Ant-Man? Oh, dude, because
Ever.
Ant-Man comics are terrible. Don't read Ant-Man.
Right, but
Like-
it's like some of the story stuff that I heard about. You know, I went back and researched Hank Pym and like his history, and I was like, I haven't even read the books, and I could already tell you the book is better than this movie.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But that's because the movie didn't use Hank Pym. They went with Ant-Man 2.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to work in the whole domestic
who's
abuse
a-
thing into your Disney Marvel movie.
Very true. Like, and I knew they weren't gonna do it. It's just too good. It's like he's too human of a superhero at that point, and I don't know that people would be on board for that. Like, not at this point. You know, maybe right now Disney's got a little bit of a comic code probably thing going on. So maybe in another 40 years, right? Is that how long it took the comic code to get out?
I don't know, man. How long did it take before we got an actual rated R Wolverine movie?
No, it was
And that
before
wasn't
that. Oh,
Disney.
the Wolverine movie. Yeah. No, but Fox had to do something with that franchise because their deal with Marvel is that if Fox ever doesn't release a movie or doesn't have a movie in production, they lose the rights to it. So they always just have to be making a movie, no matter if it's a good movie or not. They have to be making something. Or Disney will get all the rights to Wolverine, Fantastic Four, all that stuff. They'll get all that back. So yeah, so they're just churning them out because they have to. They don't want to lose the rights.
Logan was good.
I didn't watch it.
It's good.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I it hit a lot of other people a lot harder than it hit me, but I thought it was good. I was glad that we finally got a rated R Wolverine movie, and he could use his claws and all that stuff. But
yeah, and I don't know.
I didn't realize how little I cared about it, so I went to rewatch it. I bought it at Walmart, and I came home and I fell asleep like 20 minutes into it, and I've not gone back. I'm just like,
because everyone, I was turned off by it because everyone was so over the moon about Deadpool, and I don't like Deadpool as it is. Like he's not a big favorite of mine, and so I waited till it came out on DVD to watch it, and then I watched it, and then I was kind of like, okay, yeah, it's Deadpool, but in a movie, kind of like
I thought it
great.
I thought it was funny, but it was just a movie about Ryan Reynolds being funny.
Yeah, and I don't like
Reynolds way.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds. I can't stand him.
He has a very particular type of humor. I enjoy it, but
this is a very negative Adrian cast here. I'm shitting on a lot of stuff.
Hey, it's fine.
I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone.
I feel like I probably feel about Rick and Morty the same way that you feel about Deadpool.
See, and I love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I've only watched like 5 episodes of the first season. And
if you didn't like it, and if the first episode didn't get you, the rest of the show wouldn't. So like, don't worry about it. Oh, so if the first episode didn't grab you of Rick and Morty, don't worry about it. Like the rest of the show is that just it gets crazier.
Yeah, I know. I watched the last episode I saw was the Meeseeks episode, which is the one that everybody is like, it's the best, and I was like,
no, it's the most annoying, and it's a funny gag, but I wouldn't say it's the best episode. I think the best episode of Rick and Morty for me for the first 2 seasons would be the one where Morty mutates everybody into monsters, and then they have to teleport to another dimension, and they kill the Rick and Morty of that dimension and assume their lives. Like that is amazing to me because now it's like the universe 1, right? It's like our universe. They completely fuck it up and destroy it, so they go to another universe, kill Rick and Morty, and take over their lives. Like
we'll just stay here now.
Yeah, that's like that might be one of the best ones to me. And they talk about Cronenberg. You know, they drop Cronenberg, who's one of my favorite directors, for his insane, bizarre, weird bullshit. Yeah. So that's what they call the world now. So they fucked it up and they call it the Cronenberg universe, where everyone is Cronenberg monsters. So
I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish it out because apparently it's awesome. But to this point, I think it's fine. I have nothing bad to say about it, but I thought I was expecting more, I guess.
It's a personal preference thing, especially because the humor is very specific. If you're not into Dan Harmon and his thing, because Dan Harmon is a very niche, like targeted sense of humor, and Community is like a broader sense of that. Like, did you watch Community at all?
Not a ton. I did watch some of it though, and I remember thinking that was really. Did he write it or create it or?
Yeah, he was the showrunner. He created it and wrote the majority of it.
I remember thinking it was well written, for sure.
Yeah,
and the casting was fantastic.
Oh yes, solid. But yeah, it's like season 2 and season 3 are like the high points of that show, where they just go full on Harmon, and he does some alternate universe stuff in a sitcom about a community college. He does alternate universe insanity, and it's so like.
So is that like his shtick? He just likes the alternate universe stuff?
He really likes the really whacked out, insane. Like, he just goes off when he writes stuff. You know, it's kind of like a no limits. Anything is open. Like, he's not. It just doesn't seem like he has any plot lines that are taboo, or he won't do it just because the format of the show is this. You know what I mean? He's not a.
Aren't there Rick and Morty episodes where it's just like them recording? They're just like in the booth and then somebody animated to it.
Is that? I don't know about that. There might be some.
I was listening to somebody else. The reason that I got on this Rick and Morty kick is because I see people posting about there's a new season coming out the 30th, I suppose. And
sure,
people have been talking about it, and some YouTubers that I really like did a podcast about it. So I was like, I'll check it out. And everybody's talking about like there's this like deep continuity like between the episodes, and I was just like, oh, this got to be super cerebral and huge, and it's just.
Yeah, well, it gets there. Like, it gets to that deeper continuity. It's kind of like Venture Brothers, how Venture Brothers had that continuity between.
I actually think he made the same exact reference.
Where if you come into Venture Brothers, you know, in season 3, you're probably gonna be confused as shit about what's going on.
Right. That's really strange for a cartoon like that.
Yeah, which
Rick and Morty, that is.
Yeah, which I don't know. I enjoy it, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things where. It's probably harder to build a new audience. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean,
people who are on board are diehard now. Like, they're in it till it's over, and then beyond that, like, they'll be demanding more episodes until they die, probably.
Right. I don't know how that works, like, from a broader networking perspective, but. You know, most of the people I see watching it aren't nerds, so they would be on board for continuity anyway.
Yeah, it just, well, see, that's the thing, and that's one of the things with Dan Harmon is that he just doesn't give a shit, I don't think, about a target audience. Like, he just writes what he enjoys, and he writes for himself, and then all his stuff is always found an audience, and it hasn't been the most broad audience. You know, a Community had a diehard following, but it never kind of went beyond its community, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why it ended up getting canceled.
The broader.
Also, Dan Harmon's supreme alcoholism, but that's a whole other thing.
It does seem like maybe he is taking a measured approach. I won't say more measured because I don't really have a frame of reference, but a measured approach, because of the episodes I've seen, there wasn't one that I couldn't have kicked on and followed it from beginning to end, got the jokes, and been like, oh, okay.
That changes.
Like, oh, okay.
that changes a bit more later in the show. Now, most of the mid-season stuff is still one-shots.
Yeah, because I was going to say, thus far, they haven't set up anything. Each episode starts, and they're just going on an adventure.
Yeah, and the first season's like that. The second season gets a lot more. It gets a lot deeper, and then the way that the third season is set up, it's pretty interesting. Because I don't know if you watched.
Sometimes the episode will start, and I will feel like maybe I missed the end of the last one. I'm like, why are we already like on an acid trip and we haven't even begun?
Nah, dude, that's just the show, man. Like, so that's kind of the thing. If you're not into it right now, I mean, maybe watch some more. Who knows? Maybe the episode that clicks for you haven't gotten to yet.
They're also 30-minute episodes, which makes it a lot easier for me. It's easier for me to get through something that I'm lukewarm on, and maybe I will end up enjoying it because there have been shows that I hated, like the first episode of. Yeah, man. So I never ever quit a show on the pilot ever.
No, I would say you always should watch a show at least until the second season, because the second season will be where they have found their stride and they found their identity more. Because the first season of any show is almost them feeling out the identity of the show, especially with these types of shows. Joss Whedon's projects are notorious for the first season kind of not being good. Buffy the Vampire Slayer's first season is pretty damn rough, and that show gets amazing. Dollhouse's first season was terrible, but the second season was better, and then they had to do like a extended season ender episode to tie up whatever insanity he was thinking of, and It got really crazy, and you're kind of like, man, I wish they would have fleshed all this out. And then and I think that's one of the reasons why so many people are pissed off about Firefly, is because you look at how good that first season was of Firefly, and you're like, holy shit, usually Joss Whedon does a terrible first season. What could we have gotten out of this show had he continued? Like,
right. And I feel like the exact opposite is true about third seasons. I think there's a very high morbidity rate of third seasons.
I would say it's usually the fifth or sixth is where shows tend to die.
That's usually where I stopped. I can't think of any show that I've watched for. Well, I take that back. Game of Thrones is starting season 7, so. And
if you look at its fifth season was shite. Like season 5 of Game of Thrones was absolutely garbage.
I can't. Was it 6 was great? This last
6 was and 6 was amazing.
I feel like 5. Is that the last one where they were still with the author? I think it is.
Maybe.
If it is, then I agree. I was just like, that was.
It was boring, and me saying that about Game of Thrones is something, because I think most of it is boring. Oh God, internet, calm down. Internet, calm down.
Yeah. There are parts of Game of Thrones that are boring. I think that's a fair assessment. But there are also parts of Game of Thrones that I feel like are some of the best television that I've ever watched. So.
Yeah, it hit some high points, and I think that's why the first two seasons there was so much sex and nudity, because they were like, okay, this is kind of dry. Let's get some boning going on, to get people reinterested.
And it worked, man. I just, for a show, because the production quality is very high, the acting is fair, the writing is good to Midland, depending on where you are in the seasons. But just that want to come back and watch it, like that makes it for me. That's my favorite TV experience, is wanting to come back every week and watch it, which is why I hate this, like, dumping all 10 episodes at once. It's the future, man. The future.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we consume media now. Is
the rest of the universe disagrees. Yeah.
That's why I was on the NewTubers subreddit, and a lot of the stuff they were saying about gaming channels is that you need like 1 billion videos to get successful, because you want to encourage binge watching of your gaming videos. Because that's like the only way that gamers nowadays get a real audience, is if people can binge watch your shit. And I was like, oh, dude.
Well, I think about the stuff that I watch on YouTube. They're typically, I don't know, 200 episodes or so built up over a course of, however long. And I've watched all of those videos at least 10 to 15 times. Not necessarily binge watching them, but I will like.
That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a lot of content, dude.
Yeah, it's an insane amount of consumption. But I don't ever think about it. Like, it doesn't take up any of my time, because I just kick it on and I'm listening while I'm getting ready for work or cooking or whatever. I don't really. So yeah, that's absolutely true.
And I say that considering that I've seen Star Trek The Next Generation maybe 50 times, the complete series.
That's a lot of Star Trek. Good
It's
God.
a lot of, dude, I can probably recite the entirety of Star Trek from memory, and I don't think that's a good thing. Like,
What is it about that show that?
I don't.
Because once you get to that level, you're not consuming it. I don't think you're feeling any raw emotions. I think you're just picking scabs, man.
No, I am, like, because there's some good solid moments, and I skip episodes of Next Generation. Any Deanna Troi episode, I fucking skip that shit because it's not good. That's bad TV. It's boring. Bad Star Trek. But any Geordi, Data, Picard episode, those are solid. They touch on some great truisms that are still, they're still poignant about how we treat each other, and some higher-minded philosophy nonsense that I won't get into right now. But everybody, go watch Star Trek. Just do it. So I'm already seeing that if we get some sort of an audience, there's gonna be a drinking game with my episodes. That it's how long does it take until Adrian mentions Star Trek.
All right, that sounds fair.
And it is not long.
Oh man, that Star Trek VR game is gonna be fun.
Oh my god, I want to play it. Oh,
Me too.
It looks so
I don't
cool.
give a shit about Star Trek at all. I want to care.
It's not for everybody. Don't worry about it. Like,
God damn it, Adrian. You are a negative Nancy today.
yeah, it's rainy and my bad. It's a
you fucking hate it. You fucking hate it.
No, I'm not saying you're gonna hate
I
it.
love
I'm just saying, like, if you get into it, like, I wouldn't expect you to have the same affection for it that I have just because you're not me. So I don't expect you to be me.
Maybe I won't.
You might. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
I approach everything like I'm going to love it.
No,
when it
you
comes
and
to nerd stuff.
you definitely appreciate more stuff than I do. Like, you're. I don't want to say you're easier to please because that sounds like a bad.
That's probably
me
true.
saying it bad, but like,
it's easier to like. When I am critical of something, I'm pretty black and white. Like, if I dislike something, I just don't like it. Period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what color you give it to me, what flavor. Like, if I don't like it, I'm just not gonna like it. But most everything, I'm fine with for the most part.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I like that. I'm so hypercritical of stuff. I have to nitpick everything. I can't.
That's the thing. Once I do like something, I do tear it to absolute shreds.
But man, so
Spider-Man was good.
Something new.
Yes.
After we're talking about binge watching old bullshit, how about some binge watching some new bullshit?
Yes, and you don't have to binge too hard on this. Perfectly healthy binge watching. I was watching the new Castlecania on Netflix. I felt obligated to.
Woo.
And it's so far, I really, really like it. And I am off the anime bandwagon, man. There is not much anime that I enjoy anymore. I used to love it when I was younger. But I just can't. And so, and the last one I watched was Berserk, so that didn't help.
Berserk is great. Everybody shut up.
No, Berserk is awesome. The intellectual property, but that show is bad.
Oh, it's so bad, but I want to watch it so much. Like, I have it all queued up, right, to where I could watch it, and then it's just like, I don't want to look at it.
I even heard that the story is not bad, but yeah, just look at it.
No,
the
story is
fucking
the story is
distracting.
Phenomenal because it is the comic book. It's comic book to life, and it's good and it's amazing. And
So they followed it.
Looks so bad.
It's just terrible, man. And there's points where it looks great, and I'm like, oh, okay, just stop. Stop doing all that other bullshit and just stop. Do this.
Like the introduction where they trick you with good animation.
Yeah, the part where it was anime and not like some weird Japanese Toy Story shit. Yeah. So, and that's my one issue with this Castlevania Netflix series is there's something about the animation is good. Everything is proportional. It looks very clean, but it looks too clean. Like the movements are fine. It's I feel like anime is kind of dialed back to like 10 frames. I always talk about how I can't tell frame rate differences. Anime is obvious. They dial that shit way back sometimes, but this doesn't feel that way. My issue with this is like it has no soul, man. Like it's just so very like
paint by the numbers, like
very obvious that they did it all in like editing programs and there was like not a pencil involved. It just I don't know.
Okay, no, I can get that.
But the colors are good. The shading is good. Everything looks correct. It just looks too clean.
That's what the new Simpsons reminds me of, like the new seasons of the Simpsons, because it's all done with computers now for the most part, and yeah, it's just like there's not the love that was there of the early episodes of the Simpsons where you lose
stuff.
You know, it took them a month to make an episode, and it's just not. Yeah, I get what you're saying about that, definitely.
But aside from that, I only watched 2 episodes, but turns
half.
out that's half the fucking season. So I was saying this is easy to watch. 4 episodes, and
how long are the episodes?
They're half an hour each, so it's 2 hours total of viewing. Yeah, it's nothing. And they have a second season on the way, evidently. But I do prefer if you're gonna drop all the seasons or all the episodes at once, that they do it this way, where it's like shorter seasons.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they did with
feels more like watching a feature-length film in pieces. Yeah,
Black Mirror. If you watch that show, highly recommend that show. That show's incredible. But yeah, they do. Their seasons are like 6 episodes, but they're like an hour to an hour and a half long episodes, though.
The characters are great so far. I guess I don't know how to talk about this without spoiling it. Really, it's just it's pretty standard Dracula fare, though.
I don't really care. I probably won't watch it, just because I don't like anime anymore. I just can't do it. I don't know why. So, spoiler alert: we're about to blow the load on the Netflix. Go ahead and skip ahead to however long it takes us.
Spoiler, but it's really not that big of a deal. So the whole thing takes place in this Wallachia. I guess it's like Wallachia. That's how they say it. And I guess it's like a collection of towns. So it's like a province. Go ahead.
One question real quick. Is it Japanese with English subs or is it dubbed?
That's an option.
Okay.
I just watched it in English and turned on the subtitles because they'll have fake British accents and that can be hard to understand sometimes, and like they mumble and shit. So
okay, sorry, continue please.
Yeah, voice acting while we're there is serviceable. It's all fine.
That's great. Yeah,
but anybody who's a nerd is going to be watching it in Japanese anyway, so it doesn't matter. So Dracula, there's this girl and she wants to be a doctor and she wants to use magic with science, and so she asks Dracula for help and he's like, well, why should I do that? And then he says yes anyway, and it's really hilarious, like the way that he like, you think I thought he was gonna come at it slow and be like creepy and weird and be like Dracula, and she comes in and she's like asking him for help and he's like immediately is like, he's coming at her with cheesy Dracula lines about like sucking her blood and stuff, and like his advances are really like overly dramatic, and he's like hovering over, and he just has
you have the beautiful neck of a swan. Let me sup it. Let me take it all in.
It's not even that.
Let me drink of your essence, the beauty of the night.
He doesn't even sell it that hard. But it's very similar. it's a lot like that.
This ain't Bram Stoker's. This ain't your mama's Dracula.
Right. And then he walks around, explains that his castle is a traveling castle, agrees to let her help, and then it cuts to her, after he agreed to let her help, being burned at the stake as a witch, like you do.
What the fuck? All right, you lost me somewhere. I don't know what's happening.
Exactly. It's pretty quick. So
okay.
She goes to Dracula for help to fuse magic with medicine so she can help her village. He allows her to stay, and then cut to her being burned at the stake. This is years later, I assume.
Don't do medicine and magic. Those things are different.
Well, she's getting burned by like pretty stereotypical, like obvious Catholic bishops and hierarchy of the church or whatever, and they're standing around having, the typical conversation about how it's justified, and the guy's a typical like bishop creep. Reminds me a lot of the bad guy from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I mean, when Draculas are real, I say the Catholic Church is all right. It's when Draculas aren't real that there's a problem. But Draculas are real, so it's okay. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I still didn't like them. I was like, you guys assholes. But anyways, so they're and they call her by Dracula's last name, so it's established that they're married. And then the next time so she's getting burned at the stake.
Wait. What's Dracula's last name? Is it Alucard? Is it Dracula backwards?
No, his name is Vlad Tepes, which is Tepes.
Oh, okay. So they use the Impaler story.
Yeah, well, it's like, but Dracula's still his name because his son's name is still Alucard. So, but yeah, they did weave in a little bit more. Anyways,
I am gonna name my son my name backwards. Nerda. That's a terrible name. Enjoy it, you little bastard.
Yeah. Along with the rest of the psychological problems I'm gonna give you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Dracula returns to the town. He's evidently been on some trip, or he went away. I can't remember. He went away for something, and he gets back. And obviously, his town has been destroyed by something.
Magic?
But, no, I think
not magic.
I don't know if it was the church or like demons or something. I don't know. It's bad news bears. And then some old lady tells him that they burned his wife. So he gets real mad about that, as you might expect. And he goes and lays a curse on the place, and then they call bullshit. They're like, "Oh, there's no curse," and then there was a curse. Spoiler alert! And then he destroys the town. Blah blah blah. Dracula's back, and he's pissed. And then the second episode is. So
oh my god, that was the first episode.
Yeah, the first, but in its entirety, it was really long-winded. I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to do that.
That all happened in 30 minutes.
Right, but it's fairly well explained. I didn't feel overwhelmed. It's pretty well storyboarded, and they leave enough in there so that if you're watching it, you can follow along. But the first episode is way more long-winded than the second one, because the second one introduces the Belmont character, and he's in like a bar, and the patrons are talking shit about the Belmonts because they're rich, but he's like all drunk and like sarcastic, and he's a really fun character. I like him so far. He's great.
Which Belmont is it? Is it one from the games, or is this a completely different standalone thing?
I believe he's the youngest son of the Belmont family, so he may be a new character, but he might be in the games because I haven't played so many
from the
of the Metroidvania.
From the DS, because the DS ones are newer, right?
Yeah, the DS ones are newer, and I think there's been some remakes in there. I don't know. I'm not up on it. So there's a Belmont character that
so
may
what
or may
what
not
I'm getting
exist.
is that this is a remake of Castlevania 64, and it's just like the video game.
Well, yeah, essentially.
That's a joke. I have no idea. Castlevania 64 was terrible.
Oh, well, I would say everything except for the Castlevania 64 part, but I didn't play Castlevania 64 in its entirety, so I don't know. But I don't think it's that bad. But I was really young when I played it, so I don't know. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the rest of the Castlevania.
It's real bad.
I can say that with absolute certainty.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I mean, this sounds pretty convoluted.
Well, it's not too bad. It's, Dracula gets married, his wife gets burned, he goes crazy, curses the town, and then destroys it. And then the Belmont guy is going to try and stop him because he's unleashed demons across all of Wallachia. And there's like 4 towns in Wallachia. Oh, yeah. So he's going to visit the different towns, which will make different episodes. And he's like a drunken, snarky guy.
Is he like recruiting a party, like a RPG party?
I don't know. I'm only 2 episodes in. But they only got 2 episodes to figure it out.
Well, if you say they're already got another season in development, it probably doesn't resolve anything after this first one, which might be a little disappointing.
Yeah, they have to resolve something. I mean, something's got to happen. But it is anime, so maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of the things that turned me off about anime is that it's either you get those series, you get like a 24 episode series, and then it seems like they have a good thing going, and then they don't know how to end it, and then it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Or they have a series like Dragon Ball or One Piece or Naruto where it just goes forever until they stop making money, and then it just gets real dumb.
Yeah.
So like
Dragon Ball is fine, but it's frustrating as shit to watch like if you're not watching it serialized, God, like just watching a disc on DVD is
like binging it back to back.
So tedious, man.
Yeah, don't do that. I think they did.
Never realize how little happens in that show until you binge watch it.
Didn't they do a recut of it though? It was like Dragon Ball Z Kai is like a recut of the original series, or Dragon Ball is a recut of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, maybe.
And they cut out like 150 episodes of just the bullshit.
Oh yeah, they totally could have done that. No problem.
Like because it goes from like a 300 episode series to like 150 episodes, and I want to say they recut it to be more like the comic book, and they took out all the filler garbage and everything. I haven't watched it, so I might be completely wrong, but that's what I heard from a friend who really liked Dragon Ball.
I'll take his word for it, and you can correct us in the comments.
No, don't do that. You'll hurt my feelings.
You won't hurt mine because I don't read them.
I read all of them, and they're all hurtful. Robots. I'm talking about you, robots.
I'm just kidding. I will read them when they're there, but they're not there right now. So.
But you know what is good about Castlevania? I'm gonna pull this back.
Well. Do I know what's good about what?
Some really good news about Castlevania.
What is some good news about Castlevania?
Castlevania 4 is on the Mini SNES.
It is. Is it? Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Castlevania 4,
it is on there.
Right?
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, I got it right. I remembered.
Yes.
I wasn't even looking at a thing.
Right now, I want it. I do want it, but I'm not. I don't want to sleep outside for one, and I'm not going to pay a ridiculous amount of money. I own every game on this list, except for Kirby's Dream Course, which I thought was a racing game. Turns out it's golf.
No, it's a golf. It's amazing. It's actually really good. It's really fun.
Bad. It's fine.
I enjoyed it it's a good. No. It's not worth camping for a mini SNES thing. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If you can get one on Amazon or luck out and get one at Walmart, awesome. But don't sleep outside for things. That's weird.
But here's the problem. I lied. I said that there's only one game on here that I don't have. That's not true. There's 2 games. Star Fox 2. Nobody has.
Star Fox 2 official release. It's amazing.
Is it the same thing as the ROM?
No. So the ROMs that have been coming out over the years are hashed together like betas and little snippets of information that got leaked.
It's like a best amalgamation of what we had.
Yeah, they're cobbled together by fans who, like, it's an approximation of what they were thinking the next Star Fox was going to be, but they're wrong. So, and this, it's cool, really cool. What happened. I mean, it sucks what happened to Star Fox 2, but there's a whole reason why it didn't get released. And this is the official full. It's like 99% or 100% complete. For the mini SNES. It's just they never released it because the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn were coming out. Mm-hmm. And so Miyamoto was like, oh, well, Star Fox was always supposed to be an experiment on what we could do with 3D technology, and the PlayStation and Sega Saturn aren't an experiment anymore. Like 3D is here. So Star Fox 2 is obsolete. Pull it, like it's canceled.
Sucks because it really compared to those, like if they were like the N64 is right around the corner, fine. What year was this? Do you know?
I mean, this was it. So it was scheduled to come out the year that the PlayStation came out. 95, 96.
Okay, so yeah, the N64 would have been in 97.
Because. So it's kind of one of those things where Miyamoto was thinking obviously of 3D, but I don't think Nintendo had fully realized they weren't thinking about it, because they had been doing what they had been doing for 10, 15 years already with the NES and then to the Super Nintendo. They're doing the same thing. They're making a ton of money. It's working. It's a good formula. Kind of why change it?
Right.
This is what games are. This is what games are.
Which is hilarious because now that company is anything but that. Now it's like, oh, you've never done this before? Well, that's what you're gonna do.
Let's do it. I think it's a 20-year-old grudge that they've held on to because they got beat. They got beat to the punch, and now they're trying to beat everyone else, right?
See how the Switch
with
does.
the new thing. Hey, I don't know. I got hopes, but
I love it.
so you get Sony coming in, and they got fresh eyes on it. They got a fresh perspective of gaming. Never done it before, and they're taking a risk with the PlayStation for sure. But man, yeah, they saw the future. I mean,
oh yeah, Sony PlayStation.
But so Miyamoto was kind of like, well, this is obsolete now. Like this 3D technology can't compare with what they got going on,
Right.
and it's a failed experiment. So he just didn't release it. So that's cool. Like something new for the Super Nintendo. Never been seen before.
This is going to be great. I was kind of bummed when they found the SNES PlayStation 1 prototype, and there weren't any games. Like there's nothing, like no test, anything. I was like, damn. But this is cool. I'm glad that they're doing this. And the characters, I didn't realize that we had added characters.
Wait, for the Star Fox 2?
Yeah. So we've got, our standard 4 cast, and then there seems to be what looks to be a lynx and a fancy puppy.
What?
With a bow in their hair. I'm not lying.
like a princess Pomeranian, like a rich girl Pomeranian dog. Oh, dude, that is funny.
Actually, I would say that that's exactly what it is.
Oh man, I don't know why I find that so funny.
Looks like there's going to be
awesome.
like a ton of different game modes too.
Yeah,
like they really stepped outside of just.
They were because that's what they were really pushing it. So I heard that the only reason why Star Fox 1 was on rails was because they couldn't figure out a way to make it not on rails.
Right.
It was never intended to be an on-rail shooter thing like it was. It was supposed to be like an open world kind of flying around, free roam, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the technology to work. And then so I guess they would try to go further with that with Star Fox 2, and maybe they figured out how to do an off-the-rails kind of thing. There's supposed to be like a tank, I think, and some other weird shit that we got.
Yeah,
we
like
got
tanks
later
and chicken
Star Fox
walkers
games.
and stuff. And it looks like basically the concept art for what we got in the N64 version.
Yeah,
I do love this. Like the sprite work is fantastic. I wish it would have been really cool to see that. Now we will.
So, I mean, the cool thing about this though is that some people who get this SNES Mini will hopefully please rip these ROMs off of this console, like rip that Star Fox 2 off of the console.
Oh Jesus Christ! I give it a week
and put it on the internet.
How long did it take before people were putting every NES game in the library on their Mini? I think it was like a month.
Oh, people did that?
Yeah, I think it was like a month or two, maybe not even. I don't know.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. But the rest of the list, so Earthbound is on there. That was weird to me. Everything else, like
this,
if you said
everything else on this list is duh.
Yeah, everything else is like, yep, absolutely. These games should be on here. There were some glaring omissions, but
what did you think should be on there? Like, I think did they have Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yes, that's on there.
They got that. Okay.
It looks like most of the. A lot of people are like, Chrono Trigger should have been on there. I feel like that's probably a licensing issue.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Sony's got all that stuff at this point. I don't really know though.
Is that? Wait, did Sony buy? Because I thought that was an Enix game. Chrono Trigger was a.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember if it was before the Square Enix thing happened or. I can't remember how early that was.
Okay, yeah.
I think FF3 was definitely before. I don't fucking know. And that's strictly
Final
Squaresoft.
Fantasy
anyway.
6-3 is on there, and that's that's a Squaresoft.
I didn't think Mario RPG was going to be on it. I thought that was kind of cool. Actually, that is one where I would say it was not duh. I was like, that's weird. It's a weird choice.
Yeah, considering they have been trying really hard to just ignore that game, I feel, in the last 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, or change it into something else.
Yeah,
it's like all of the fans are like, just do what you did on the Super Nintendo again. And they're like, well, what if it was Paper Mario instead, though? It's like, no, just do the regular one.
And you get one character. And it's weird.
What if we?
I love Paper Mario, but it just wasn't as good.
Yeah, it's fine, but that's the problem. It's just fine. I love Mario RPG. Like that is one of my favorite
Yeah.
RPGs because I typically don't have the patience for RPGs.
Nah.
I love RPGs. I think they're great. I like the medium, but I am notorious for getting like halfway through and I'm just like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, if there's one game, it's so weird because it's like anytime I want to play a Super Nintendo game, if there's one game I always inevitably play, it's Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, Mario RPG
And
or
I'm not
Mega
even
Man.
sure. I'm not even really sure why. Like or Mega Man. Yeah, Mega Man X and Super Mario RPG are like go-tos. And then sometimes Chrono Trigger because Chrono Trigger is a really good game.
Oh, Chrono Trigger is amazing. We don't really even have to talk about how good that game is, but what did you? Okay, so I haven't given a game that a lot of people are talking about Turtles in Time. I don't. It is kind of weird, but there's not a.
But that's Konami. That's Konami.
So is Contra.
I don't know because they. Oh, that's true. They got Contra 3.
And Castlevania.
So the thing with Turtles in Time is I actually just played it with my girlfriend Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I got a working emulator. Sorry, I'm stealing shit. I'm just gonna say that right now. I got a working emulator on my laptop, and we sat down and we played some Turtles in Time, and so me being good at the game and then her being absolutely terrible at the game, we still finished the game.
Yeah.
In about 20 minutes. So
my issue with Turtles in Time, I'm not gonna say it didn't age well for me, but that's pretty much the feeling. Like I can't sit down.
Yeah.
It used to be if there was a Super Nintendo in the house and the game was in that same house, I was playing it. Love to hear the sound, love to mash the buttons, but now it's just kind of a.
It's a solid ass game. Like it's really good, but the thing is that it's kind of like I'll play through it once. It took us 25 minutes to play through it.
Mm-hmm. There's not
it's kind of just a.
It doesn't require much of a skill set at all, so it like lacks in the gameplay department. I feel
it's a 2-button game. I mean, the only thing that the only next level shit you could do is just knowing that you can tap an enemy, put him in a stun state, walk over to him, grab him, and then instant kill him like any enemy, just about.
My favorite part about that game is watching it happen, so it kind of makes sense that one's not on there.
Did they put? Because I'm not. Because I know that they put Kirby's Dream Course. They could put Kirby Dream Superstar or whatever. The Kirby.
That one's on there. Kirby Superstar is on there.
The million Kirby games. That game's amazing.
Yeah, I love that game. So I'm not.
Did they put the Yoshi? Did they put the?
Yeah, Yoshi's Island is on there.
So and they only put Super Mario World on there, right? They didn't put the Super Mario All Stars.
Right. Which is fine because I think they put them all on the classic.
Oh, did they put 1, 2, and 3 on the classic?
I don't know that for sure, but it stands to reason.
Which in concept is fine, but they're not making those anymore. So
right.
Fuck you. Put our All Stars plus Super Mario World.
So
on
I guess
SNES.
All Stars should have been on there. Zombies Ate My Neighbors isn't on there. I think it's probably one of my favorite multiplayer games, but I'm not surprised that it's not on the console.
Yeah, I didn't like that game. I don't know.
No, that's fine. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's because it's a gauntlet type kind of game, right?
Similar, yeah, very arcade. Yeah, it is a gauntlet game, pretty much.
Yeah, those just aren't my.
I like it better than Gauntlet.
Yeah,
what do you mean that's not your thing? You play like roguelikes all the time, isn't that the same exact thing?
No, those are 100% different.
You sure?
And that they're probably the same, but different enough that I enjoy them.
All right, fair enough.
They
seem awful the same to me.
Don't be using my own words against me, you sumbitch. This isn't.
Seems very similar.
Look, dude, I split hairs like that all the time. I'm surprised that you're even like surprised. I'm surprised you're surprised.
I'm not that surprised. It's like, well, what about them? Do you hate exactly?
No, and it's not that I don't hate. It's not that I hate them. It's just the Gauntlet ones were. I don't know.
Gauntlet. I don't like Gauntlet.
Something about it just didn't speak to me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I don't know.
I think they pretty much knocked it out, man. There's not a whole lot on here that I'm like, why don't they have this? I wouldn't have put Punch Out on there, but of course it's there.
Nah, you gotta have Super Punch Out. That game's great.
I prefer the first one, but I didn't play the second one, so that's why.
Oh, you never played it's pretty much the exact same, except for the super punch mechanic is different.
Oh, okay.
So, because was it Mike Tyson's? You would hit him at the certain animation, right, or the certain frame, and you would get like a star, and then you could spend the star to do a super punch. Well, in this one, it's you as long as you got a good combo and a good rhythm going, and you don't get hit, you build a super meter, and then you can like super punch whenever you have that super meter full. But it doesn't do like an instant knockout. It just does like more damage.
I gotcha. So what? Let's see. There's a lot of I was
just give me the list, and I'll try to think of some stuff that I would like to see. But I think they hit like all of my favorites.
Yeah,
like,
they got it pretty good. Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby Dream Course, Zelda Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox. Secret of Mana is a weird game to put on there. Street Fighter 2, Castlevania, Ghouls and Ghosts, Mario Kart, Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Metroid, Punch-Out, and Yoshi's Island.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see. I mean, there's some games that are my personal favorites, but I understand why they're not on there. I would love to see Battletoads and Battle Maniacs.
That would be cool. I liked Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Yeah, I would love to see Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage was great.
I like Streets of Rage 2. Was that on Super Nintendo?
Yeah, Streets of Rage 2 and 3, I think, were Super Nintendo. But they got some quality co-op on there. I think that's why they put Secret of Mana in there because that's co-op, right?
Yeah, it's co-op RPG. Later. It's kind of a weird.
Yeah,
it's still a strange title, I think.
It's really popular.
Oh, it's insanely. I love that game.
Yeah.
And it has sort of a storied past mixing with Final Fantasy, especially on Game Boy.
Wait, and didn't it have ActRaiser? I didn't hear ActRaiser in that list.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I did. Earthbound's on there twice. If ActRaiser is on there, that is awesome.
Yeah, I could have swore ActRaiser was in there, which that's a phenomenal game.
I love ActRaiser.
But yeah, I don't know. Like it's, they hit their most solid, probably the most popular games that'll reach the widest audience, That's good.
15. Where are the rest of the games, man? 15 and 5 is 20.
Was Yoshi's Island is that the one with Baby Mario?
It's not on there, man. I'm not seeing it. ActRaiser's not on there.
I could have swore it was. I saw it on some list. If it's not on there, then that's a travesty that needs to be on there.
Okay, well, we can agree on that one because I don't see it on the list. There's 21 games, including Star Fox 2, right?
There's only 21. I thought they hit a 30.
Did they release more?
I don't know, dude. Is your list incomplete? Are you coming to this podcast with incomplete information? I didn't think so.
I didn't think so.
Having no information at all.
All right, let's check this.
What have you done?
One more time.
You just demolished, abolitionized our credibility.
Oh, all that credibility.
Oh.
Bro, I'm telling you, it is not on here. It's not.
Maybe I saw some wish list of somebody and I thought it was a real list. I could easily get confused like that. The internet is complicated, man.
I hope it's on there. In fact, that's the only answer I have to your original question, which is what would I put on there? I would put ActRaiser on there. That's what I would do.
But I think we haven't. The most important thing we haven't touched on yet is cord length. Did they talk about how long those damn controller cords are going to be?
I don't know, man. I haven't seen a spec sheet yet. You think they would fix it? I mean, they know we're going to say something about it.
Nintendo's been pretty good. I want to say they've been pretty good lately about listening to people, listening to their fan base. So I'm hoping that's one of the things they heard, because that was the biggest complaint about that little NES.
I would argue that Nintendo's always been good about listening to their fan base. It's their response that's a little dicey sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
Nintendo, that's not what we meant.
Like their response to the Wii, or no, the Switch's remote, like the left remote not working. They were like, people are like, Nintendo, it's not working. Here's a video of it not working. And Nintendo was like, it's working. You're not doing it right, but we'll fix it.
It works just fine, but you send it to us and we'll fix it.
It works just fine, but yeah, send it back and we'll fix it, but you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, but luckily I haven't had any bullshit or issues with mine. They just dropped a bunch of games, too. I'm pretty excited. Splatoon comes out on the 17th.
No, that's been out. I announced it as released like 2 months ago, so that's out.
It's ready to rock and roll. They're doing some pre-party thing for it now, and you can be ice cream or cake. I don't know what that means, but
what?
You can go check that out on switch.ownoneinyourhands.com.
I don't want to. That sounds like some weird fetish bullshit that I don't want to look at. Like, that's like a bizarre sub-channel of Pornhub that I'm not interested in.
There's no channel of Pornhub that I'm not at all interested in.
All right, look, fair enough, but I wasn't going to say that in public, okay? But, yeah, that's cool. But you were telling me about some Switch stuff that you found recently that was really exciting.
Oh, yes, it is really exciting. It might not be to anybody else, and I'm really late to the game because I didn't see... Actually, I think I did download the game it came out, but I didn't see anything about it before it came out. So I don't know if there was any pre-buzz, but...
No, dude, because I looked, after you told me about it, I looked at some stuff, and I didn't find any pre-anything. Yeah. I found after the fact there was some people who were like, oh my god, wait a minute, this game's good.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt. So the game's called Mighty Gunvolt. Came out, I want to say, like a month ago. And I downloaded it on a whim because... If you're a Mega Man fan, for a long time, what we had to look forward to was a game called Mighty Number 9. And it was going to be the reincarnation of Mega Man. And it was
Pooposaurus
a dumpster
Rex.
fire.
That game sucked balls and in a bad way.
So bad. They did that, like... 2.5D? I don't know how you explain it. It was 3D sprites on a 3D background, but you move in a 2D manner, and it looked terrible. Everything looked like really washed out and like lazy.
Yeah, I think voice acting. I think they're calling it 2.5D.
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 Yeah, and it just wasn't fucking Mega Man. It didn't feel like Mega Man. It didn't look like Mega Man. It was just bad. So I downloaded this one because apparently I wanted more of that. And
you're just a masochist, like ready for some self-abuse.
Yeah,
I gotta get it.
had to pick that scab. So downloaded it, and so you start out the game and there's these two different characters, one of which I have no idea who it is. His name is Gunvolt, and he stars in his own game, which is called I think it's just called Gunvolt. I don't know. But anyways,
I have no idea.
He's the other guy, and you get to choose between one or the other. So I picked Gunvolt because I picked Mighty Number 9 before, and that did not end well. So I went with him, and it's basically, dude, it feels like Mega Man. It's so great. It's awesome. Like, it's pixelated, like awesome pixel graphics, somewhere between 8 to 16-bit, but probably closer to 8, which is kind of refreshing. Normally, it feels like if they do the 8 to 16-bit, you're closer to the...
Nah, it looked higher res than that. It looked more like 32 or something. Like, because the color range... Or no, wait. Maybe I'm thinking different something.
But it does, like... Okay, so you did touch on one thing that I was going to talk about. The color range is way more than the NES could handle. But this looks graphically speaking, it looks like Mega Man 6 easily.
Okay, yeah.
Just like if the colors were like wha-pow. And there's obviously there's pixel effects that are much better, and they have fades and stuff. So there's stuff there that wasn't there before, as they say in that Disney movie. But other cool. So it's 8 levels. You can pick them in any order you want to, as per usual, as you should be able to in a Mega Man game. Each level has rare items you can find, so replayability is there, which is nice. I don't know if there's Wily stages because I haven't finished all 8 stages yet. I think I have one left.
Yeah, I don't know. The stuff I watched didn't go that far. They were still just doing the original robot masters.
Right. It handles continues in a new way that is very modern, but it's not terrible. Like I feel like I'm used to, a certain amount of deaths and you have to continue, and that restarts you from a certain point, and that sort of drives you to get better at the game. This one, it's like you die, you start over. Period. Like there's no amount of deaths, there's no continue, and it seems like it saves you some time. Like
it fucks with your score. Like you just won't get a top score.
Right. But there are parts of the game that are genuinely, I wouldn't say they're hard. Like I feel like
I don't know. I saw some levels that somebody was playing, and there was some bullshit going on. So like, if I had a limited amount of continues, I would be pissed.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they compensate for your lack of continues with some nonsense. Like but it's trial and error. It's nothing that you can't do. It's like Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's fair. You can if you do it enough times and you memorize the patterns and you don't suck, like you can get through it. So it's great. And without having to go back to a continue screen consistently, I feel like it's better. And you do get special weapons, but it's not the same way. It's not like when you kill them, you get their power. In this game,
you do because each boss gives you a thing, but it's like it's not the same. It's not like, hey, I got a fire deal now.
It's not representative of the boss. You get these chips, and you make your own ammo, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
It adds a huge amount of depth to the gameplay now I don't know if this is true, but every single level that I've played so far, I feel like I could have gotten through with the standard shot that you're given in the beginning of the game. But if you, like, for example, there's a boss, it's almost like you can beat him on accident if you set your gun to have a 45-degree ricochet off the wall, but just because of the way he positions himself. But with the amount of options that you have as far as dealing out your CP, you could go through 50 different combinations before you accidentally land on that one. It's not like in Mega Man there was the rock paper scissors. You could go to a boss and just hit him with different stuff until there's one that hurts him the most.
Yeah,
this one
until the thing happens.
Yeah, this one, it seems like all of the ammo damages them at pretty much the same rate. What you're fucking with is like the speed of the shot, how many can be on screen at a time, how long the duration of the shot is.
So I did hear that the boss, so that's like the boss gives you a boss chip, which like adds an element or adds a thing to your shot.
Yeah.
And then that might be what adds damage to another boss, but it doesn't seem like it's game breaking like Mega Man. Like if you don't have this, it's gonna be fucking impossible.
Well, here's the thing: when they say the word element, from what I remember, like I've never played the fucking thing before. The elements that I've gotten are not elements like Earth, Wind, and Fire. These are elements like
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right. These are elements like they're characteristics of the shot. For example, the 45-degree angle, or like you can shoot a wavy shot and stuff like that. Like those are the elements, and I think that they do more damage in the fact that you can hit the boss easier rather than doing more damage. Like if you hit it one time, it takes away a third of their health.
Yeah, and puts them in a weird animation loop like the X series.
That Spark Mandrel syndrome.
Oh, dude. Man, it's so good. That game's amazing. I want to play it. We need to play more of that.
We do.
We never finished it.
We gotta do the Wily stages.
I don't know how this internet is going to go because, I mean, we don't even have video turned on right now, and our audio is still fucking up. So
yeah, there's going to be some spots where it sounds like I can't hear Adrian. That's because I can't. But we didn't cut out, man. We didn't drop anything, so that's nice.
That's good.
A little bit.
Well, hey, I hope you guys found this entertaining. We should probably stop now.
Yeah. Reel it in, man. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. All right. So we're putting this up on YouTube now. But as we said in the beginning, if you want to download it and take it with you, there's a link in the description. Otherwise, it's on SoundCloud as always. And Facebook is a great place to get us.
Oh, dude, I expanded our social media reach like nobody's business the other day.
And Adrian's doing spaceman shit,
dude,
with our social media.
I got a robot in charge of social media now because I don't have fucking time to manage like 16 different social medias.
Yeah.
So we're on like Blogger, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus. There were some others, but I don't know how they would help us as a game channel, like Flickr and Splort and like Splooger. I'm making shit up now. Like,
Okay.
I mean,
it's like that one can't
if
be
you just make
real.
like just
But
make a noise, just make a fucking noise, and that's a social media app now. Like Gurf.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the last one, BIT_machine. That's Twitter. So send us suggestions. Tell us what you want us to play. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us that we suck or that we're awesome.
Yeah, all those comments count.
Tell us
so you
something.
should comment.
Yeah, apparently they count. I don't know how
I found out
works,
dislikes
but-
count too. They say dislikes count as much as likes.
Yeah, it's just post engagement.
So
right?
yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna make a separate channel of just really offensive stuff, and just be as offensive as possible.
Yeah, it'd be like just thumbs up or thumbs down the video. I don't care. We don't give a shit what you think. Just think something.
Nah, you don't have to think anything. Just click the button. Just be a good click robot. Click the button. Do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Yep. So that's it.
And on
guys.
that note of peer
Goodbye.
pressure, blog us on the GURP.